Twitter has temporarily locked Kanye West out of his own account following his anti-Semitic, not alleged, anti-Semitic and disgusting declaration of war on Jewish people. Now, the tweet in question has been taken down, but as you can imagine, many people have taken screenshots of it before Twitter took it down. So I'm gonna read what he wrote verbatim, and then we'll discuss the ramifications of these types of statements. He says, quote, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people," he writes in all caps. "The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda." Okay, let's keep that tweet up for a second, only because I want to draw attention to just how many people liked that tweet. 31,000 people liked it. They read that and thought, no, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, Kanye nailed it.
Yeah, and by the way, it wasn't up that long, so people rushed to like that. And so they'll say, freedom of speech, we're allowed to hate Jewish people. Well, yeah, you are allowed. It's not particularly a great thing to do though, so not something I'd brag about, but I'm not a right winger. So let's break down the tweet first, and then we'll talk about many issues with Kanye West. So it's DEFCON, not DEFCON. And for him to-
But he's a genius, Jim.
Yeah, I know. For him to call it DEFCON 3 is both incredibly stupid, which is exactly what Kanye West is. He's a very, very unintelligent person, okay? But it's also way worse. Yep. You put death in there. I'm going to go to war and we're going to go to DEFCON 3 against Jewish people. There's no subtlety, there's no code words. Hey, listen, schmuck, you're a right winger now. They use coded language like global elites, okay? That's what your buddy Trump does and Tucker Carlson does. Said you just said it like a moron, right? I know you all think it. So then we go to more moronic statements. The funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also.
Let's pause. First of all, yes, you'll address the whole argument in a second. But the fact that he said, funny thing is I can't be anti-Semitic, that communicates to me that he knows what he's saying is anti-Semitic.
100%, that's a great point. You might be anti-Semitic if you say, I'm actually Jew. What is that? He's not even a Jew, which is already bad now. Jewish American, whatever, right? And then but the very next sentence is, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda.
Dude,
so wait, are you Jewish or are you not Jewish? What do you mean you guys? What do you mean you guys?
Can we just also address the endless desire for powerful, wealthy right-wingers to be victims, to present themselves as the oppressed? I mean, you listen to the bonkers interview that he had with Tucker Carlson, and it was just endless, I'm being oppressed, I'm being oppressed. You have a massive platform. You have surrounded yourself with yes men who tell you you can do nothing wrong regardless of what you say or what you do. You're a multimillionaire. How are you a victim exactly? In a country that has nearly 50% of the population that can't even afford a $400 emergency, and that was a statistic prior to the pandemic, But please tell me how Kanye West is a victim. I mean, it's insane.
But he's actually perfect for the right-wing mind.
Absolutely.
They have historically had all the power in this country. They've used it to oppress others and to fight against against justice and equality, right? They don't want equality, they want oppression. But the minute you say, hey guys, can you not do that? They're like, oh, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. Trump does the same exact thing. By the way, they also both of them had giant amounts of money. They both lost it because they're both morons. And then Kanye, do you remember when Kanye West begged Mark Zuckerberg for money? And because he had gotten broke, because he went through. Who victimized you, Kanye? Who made you run through all of your money? Was it the Jews? Was it someone else? No, moron. It was you. You spent all your money, and you lost it all because you are stupid.
Yeah, and look, in the past, I specifically have brought up his mental health issues. I'm not interested in having any discussion about how he has mental health issues. What he did, what he said is straight out anti-Semitic. pointing to mental health issues as an excuse for what he tweeted out, I think is disgusting, considering the fact that there are plenty of people in this country and across the globe who have mental health issues, and they don't go around spouting anti-Semitic garbage.
Yeah, well, Anna, so I think that there's a little bit of nuance there. So a lot of people have written and say, wait a minute, I got bipolar disorder. I don't say this stuff.
Exactly.
Right, and that's obviously true, right? So is it just because he has bipolar disorder? Absolutely not, right? So, but what bipolar disorder sometimes can do, right? And I'm not an expert on it, I'm just telling you from a layman's perspective, is that it can amplify what you already think because you have less control, right? In that moments that you're having the issues, right? So Kanye already thought those things. In fact, he's been thinking them for a long, long time, as we're gonna show you. So, but when he's off the medication, he can't contain himself. So he's like, oh my God, I hate, it's the Jews, right? So, but if you didn't think it was the Jews in the first place, you never would have said that because it wouldn't even be in your mind. So he's all of those things. Yes, he's got mental health issues and he should get back on the medication and therapy, and the people around him are monsters for enabling him getting off the drugs, okay? Also, he's deeply unintelligent, doesn't understand anything in the world. And number three, he's hateful. So it's a toxic combination of all three things.
The other thing I wanted to just quickly bring up is, watching his interview with Tucker Carlson, I couldn't help but notice this ongoing theme throughout the conversation, which was this person's being controlled, that person's being controlled. But, at least in the context of that interview, he wasn't as overt as he was in his tweet here. But get a load of what he had to say about his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Again, being controlled. Who is she being controlled by? Let's watch.
Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present her. There's so many things that are put in Kim's head. They bring influencers, like no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. These people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion. And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all times, telling them what to be afraid of.
So what is he talking? Does he not know that his ex-wife's career literally started with a sex tape? I mean, I guarantee you there's no one in Kim's ear, aside from maybe her mom, telling her you need to go out there and you sell your sex appeal to sell product, which is what she does. But that's been the entirety of her career from the very beginning.
Yeah, so she showed her ass in that interview, in that print article that Kanye is referring to, which makes it different than any other day. How? That's literally the entirety of her career.
No, but you don't get it, Cenk. Kim is actually a Christian.
Oh yeah.
Kim is a Christian.
Now remember though, but look at that though. He's separating her from other people who are not Christian. Kim's a good Christian. She happened to leak her own sex tape, but good Christian. But it was the Jews who probably made her do it, right? I mean, and it was the Jews who made her show her ass. It was the Jews who made her make $1 billion. By the way, if it's true, she should be thanking them profusely. Jesus Christ, can the Jews help me out with $1 billion? It's absurd, it's not the Jews. It's so stupid to think that. And guys, look, do I have to explain this? And apparently I do, because tons of people in the country don't get it. The people in one religious group or racial group are not the same. There's a giant variety, from intelligent to unintelligent, from working hard to not working hard, from people who have empathy to people who have no empathy. And you think that they're one monolith, that they email each other? Like, that they're like, hey, what do you think? How should we control Kim Kardashian? Come on.
Insane, absolutely
it's insane.
But I gotta get to a few other elements of the story, because what's also insane is the way the media has chosen to write their headlines about what Kanye West said. Listen, the reason why I emphasize that this is not alleged anti-Semitism is because it's not that easy to decipher what he intended to communicate to the world. It is anti-Semitic. What he said, declaring war on Jewish people, is anti-Semitism 101. But you go to Reuters, let's go to graphic 5 here. Kanye West's Twitter, Instagram accounts restricted after alleged anti-Semitic posts.
Just please, man, be journalists. Don't be cowards.
I mean, it is unbelievable. Like, what exactly would someone need to say for Reuters to determine that it's not alleged anti-Semitism, that it's just anti-Semitic? What would he need to say? Apparently, declaring DEFCON 3 on Jewish people is not enough. Alleged, we don't know. Yeah. You decide.
Well, obviously the correct answer is DEFCON 4. If he'd said that, that's definitely anti-Semitic. Now, look, guys, I want to make some distinctions, right? So, unfortunately, the word anti-Semitic has been thrown around in politics too much, right? So anytime that anybody disagreed with someone who was usually right-winger, etc., they'd be called anti-Semitic, right? So you have an honest disagreement on foreign policy issues about Turkey, you don't get called anti-Turkish. But if you have an honest disagreement about foreign policy issues with Israel, you get called anti-Semitic. Now, do those people actually believe you're anti-Semitic? Not at all. They're just using it as a way to bludgeon their political opponents. And almost always it's the right wing that does that, right? So even with Kanye, so they said, for example, when he did the Tucker Carlson interview, he talked about how Jared Kushner was manipulating things inside the White House to make money. And they're like, oh, that is anti-Semitic. I'm like, well, that one I'm not sure is anti-Semitic because Trump did the same thing. Trump also manipulated things to make money, and he's not Jewish, he's Christian, right? So I don't want people to think that, oh, we're just saying everything is anti-Semitic, everything is racist. No, not at all. In fact, we draw those distinctions more than anybody does. But when you say you're going to DEFCON 3 against on Jewish people, that is not subtle, that is not political, that's not anything but completely 100% anti-Semitic. Stop being neutral to monsters.
Absolutely. And there are some who are neutral, others who aren't neutral at all, and they're very obvious about it. Fox News, their tweet, I love the quotation marks here. Ye locked out of Twitter due to violation of policies. I mean, that's Fox News 101.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.